For this design, I used my basic bodice block as a foundation pattern. I have two videos in this, old and updated one. I have traced the bodice on a fresh pattern paper. I traced both the front and back, but however mid drafting I realized that there was no need tracing the back bodice. You'll see why later, so skip tracing the back bodice pattern. While drafting, I erased and adjusted just to get it right. First, I marked the desired top length, which is 26 inches, and I drew a line. I wanted to increase the overall size by either 1.5 inches or 2 inches. I was so torn, but I later opted for 1.5 inches for the increment, which I marked on the side. I drew a straight line between. I was still contemplating whether to use a straight line or to follow the bodice shape, but later on, I settled on creating an A shape, but we'll get to that. Next, I worked on increasing the sleeve. I didn't want a basic sleeve, and from the look of the design, they used a rectangle sleeve and not the regular sleeve. Extending the shoulder was another hassle. I tried to eyeball the width of the extension. It wasn't fixed. It was solely based on what my eyes like. So I did a lot of erasing and adjusting, readjusting, and all that. I still maintained a 1.5 inches slant for the shoulder. At the end, I maintained 1.5 inches for the side, and I made the side an A line to create a flare at the ruffle side. I made the shoulder 7 inches and the sleeve length 9 inches, and curved the sleeve to connect under. So I did like this I did around curvy stuff I always do for my kimono, just to connect the sleeve to the side. Later on, I erased all the lines that I do not need. Next, I extended the neck by 1/2 inch and I curved it. I didn't want the neck too tight. I created an opening at the back while its eye saw, just to give just to make enough space for my head to pass through. Next, I created the bottom ruffle details. For the bottom, from the bottom, I measured up 8 inches. Then I marked my under bust measurement, which is 13 inches. From the 8 inches mark, I marked 1.5 inches. At the 14 inches point, I marked 1/2 inch as a guide to create the curve, so that it won't be so it will be flat at the top, it won't be too sharp. I proceeded to curving. I wanted the curve to be average. I don't want it to be too high or too low, so I curved and curved and curved until I got what I wanted. Next, I cut out to create my back pattern, so you can see why there is no need creating a back block, a back bodice block pattern. Since I already traced the back bodice, I traced the front on it, and I adjusted the back neck, and I marked the 8 inches point. For the 8 inches point, I drew a line across The back is quite different from the front. You don't need those high curve for the back. Next, I create a slash line. I wanted a minimal ruffle. I don't want the ruffle to be so profound. I created the line for both the back and the front, and I numbered them. Next, I cut out the bottom parts of the dress. So we have two parts. Front has two pattern pieces and the back has two pattern pieces. So here I used this metallic fabric. It looks similar to the initial design, to the main design. So I love this metallic fabric. I actually got two colors, so I think this one is better for this design. It has a bit of a stretch in it, so yeah, I think it's okay. It's time to sew. First, I cut out the center back open to create space to pass my head through. You can do 4.5 or 5 inches depending on the head space you need. Next, I cut out neck facing for both the front and the back neck. After cutting the neck facing, I locked the bottom rough edges. I attached the facing right side together. You need a hook or make a hook for the back button. The hook should be placed at the top edge. After stitching, trim and flip over. I only top stitch the front. To get the ruffle on both bottom pieces, I ran a basting stitch on the top, then pull to create the ruffle. I dragged until the bottom pieces are equal in size as the top. Try to distribute the ruffle evenly before stitching. After that, I pinned and stitched. Right sides should be placed together before stitching. I was extra careful while pinning and stitching the front pieces, so you need to be very mindful. Next, I joined the shoulders together and stitch. I tried it on to measure my desired sleeve length. I measured the width of the armhole, then I added 8 inches for the sleeve ruffle. I marked the width plus length on the remaining fabric, then cut. Next, I base stitch the top and drag to create the sleeve ruffle. Next, I attach the sleeve, right sides together. The center notch should align. I ensured that my ruffle is focused more in the center of the sleeve, then I stitched. Now it's time to stitch the sides. I match the seams and pin, then stitch and lock the edges. Next, I locked the sleeve edges and bottom of the top. Next, I folded the armhole once to create a channel for the elastic. While sewing, I left a small space to insert my elastic. I also hemmed the top. Next, I inserted the elastic, then stitch closed the space. The final step is hand stitching my button, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Bisous.